This is the Sand Hollow Wash Bridge in the northwestern corner of Arizona. The Sand Hollow Wash Bridge was constructed in 1929. Located along the route of old US 91, this was the main road between Las Vegas and Salt Lake City until Interstate 15 was constructed in this area in 1962. The bridge is 370 feet long, with two narrow lanes squeezed into its 20-foot roadbed width. The main span is 80 feet. Official statistics say that only about 300 vehicles per day pass over this structure, although it seemed to me like 300 vehicles passed by while I was standing in the road trying to film this video. There are no sidewalks on this bridge, and even though the speed limit is only 30 miles an hour on this section of road, I didn't dare risk being out in the middle of the bridge 200 feet from safety when two cars approached in opposite directions. So I settled for driving over it and appreciating the clackety-clack of the seams on the deck. I'm always a fan of ornate railings on old bridges, as they seem to speak to a craftsmanship and pride that just seems to be missing for more modern bridges. Although I confess, as a motorist, I prefer the safety of modern bridges because I have serious doubts that this iron grating would have prevented someone from driving off the edge. But aesthetically, it sure looks pretty. The Sand Hollow Bridge was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1988. Owing to its importance, not necessarily for the state of Arizona, but for Las Vegas and Salt Lake City. Back in 1929, similar to today, this part of Arizona was completely separated from the rest of the state by the Colorado River. Just as today's Interstate 15 is of very little utility for the vast majority of Arizonans, this same thing was true for US 91, the predecessor to Interstate 15. Nearly all of the traffic passing here is between Nevada and Utah. Even still, despite the fact that this road didn't serve the vast majority of its residents, the state of Arizona spent $43,000 to build this bridge as a part of the nascent US 91, which had been around for only a couple of years when construction commenced here in March of 1929. The bridge is of a construction called a Warren truss design, which means that the weight of the load is borne by triangular-shaped struts. It's a lightweight structure which can support a lot, and since I'm not an engineer, that's about as specific as I can be. Although the trusses are not really visible as you drive over the bridge, if you use the pull-out on the eastern side of the bridge, you can see the structure of the trusses underneath the road deck. There's a couple more things that I want to tell you about this bridge. First is that the Sand Hollow Wash Bridge is not found along some abandoned stretch of remote old highway. Even though I called this series This Old Road, the highway here is still in active use. For sure, this highway hasn't been the main road for over 60 years, but it is regularly maintained by Mohave County, and the road even has a county route number. And that brings me to the second point. In tribute to the road's legacy, the county has assigned the same number to the road that it had historically. So this is Mohave County Route 91. Now I think that's pretty cool. The U.S. shields were removed in this area a half a century ago, but the number lives on. If you're concerned about having such an old bridge still in service on an active road, you can be reassured that this bridge is inspected every 2 years, and it's found to be structurally sound and usable. In fact, here's the entry from the Bridge Inspection Database, which described it as, quote, somewhat better than minimum adequacy to tolerate being left in place as is. and this was after the most recent inspection in July of 2023. So go ahead and check out the Sand Hollow Bridge and drive right over one of the oldest bridges around in this part of the country, which is still in service. The bridge is super easy to get to as it's located only 3 miles east of the state line at Mesquite, Nevada. If you're driving between Las Vegas and Utah, the Sand Hollow Bridge is within sight of the freeway. The easiest way to find it is to use exit number 122 in Mesquite. But since this is a through road, you also can use exit number 8 from Littlefield, Arizona, and drive on a little bit more of the historic route. By the way, if you'd like to see the documents that I showed in this video, either the nomination for the National Register of Historic Places or the Bridge Inspection Database, both of which have much more detail than I included in this video, I've placed links to both of those items in the description of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you clicked the thumbs up. If I got something wrong or you'd like to offer any corrections or feedback, please feel free to leave a comment. And if you enjoy the content that I'm creating, I'd be honored to have you as a subscriber to my channel. Thank you for watching.